Welcome back to Previs Pro. Today we're gonna show you the second part of a previous video from the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. We're gonna start with naming this scene as laundry. This is an interior night and we're gonna custom our floor to cement because it's like closer to white. And we have here our two characters that we're gonna change for our protagonist. Here we have Waymon, and then we're gonna select Evelyn. This is our main cast for this scene. Now we're gonna place our background. I have this already downloaded to my background options. It's a laundry, just a regular laundromat. Now we're gonna duplicate this shot and we're gonna place a different background because we're gonna create a reverse shot. We're gonna place our characters here closer to what our visual reference is showing us. We're gonna select the camera movement. It's gonna be a dolly in. We're gonna select our camera. Here is gonna be an Arri because we know the shot with an Alexa Mini. We're gonna go from a 35 to a wider lens. 24 millimeters looks good. Let's move a little bit our camera. Yeah, let's go back to 35. And then let's start editing our characters. Let's start with Evelyn. Let's change the color in her costume. And now let's change the color for Waymon. His shirt is red. And let's place this light closer. Okay, let's start our selected focus. Now let's change this background because I think this one works better. And let's find a light. Okay, let's duplicate this light now that we're gonna use for the background. Let's duplicate it again. And let's change the color temperature for a warmer color temperature for our background. There we go. Now we have two LED panels for our background that are warmer, and this LED panel that is for our key light has to be warmer too because it has to emulate that the light is coming from the same place. And now we're gonna start with some fluorescent tubes, and let's do those with a cooler temperature. And let's pretend that these fluorescent tubes are coming from the outside, so it's giving us this cooler feeling coming from the window. Okay, now we're gonna do this new large Fresnel cooler also, and let's change a little bit the angle and how much this light is gonna hit. Okay, let's place it here. And now we're gonna create a different character that is in the background of our scene, of this shot. And this character is also wearing red. We're gonna name this as Extra 1 in Laundry. We're gonna place it here behind Waymon, way back. Yeah, and now we're gonna create another character that is next to Extra 1. And we're gonna put this other character in red too. It's gonna be Extra 2 in Laundry. Let's place this character in the back too. That's good. And let's select the focus on Waymon. Remember that he is an important character in this shot. And now let's change the position of the characters. Waymon and Evelyn, let's change her position first, and now let's change his position. They have to look like if they are hugging. Let's choose the size of the shot. It's gonna be a cowboy shot, and the shot movement, it's a dolly in. The shot angle, it's low angle because of the position of the camera. And that's it. Now we're gonna add a note explaining what is happening in this moment. So Evelyn stands up and hugs Waymon. We have that. Okay, let's go to camera view. Let's see how this is looking. I think it's looking good. Let's add some props. We need some chairs on the left side of the frame. Something for the middle ground and foreground. I think that would be nice to give us some depth of field in the frame. And now let's add this stove that looks like a laundry machine. It has the same shape, so it works for us. We're only gonna see part of this machine, so that's totally fine. Now let's add this basket that has a lot of clothes in it, and let's place it on top of the stove or laundry machine. And we're just gonna put it like at the very edge of our shot. Let's adjust this key light, and now let's also adjust our top light. I feel like we need to have this a little more greenish, so let's just adjust this. Let's again select our focus on our camera view with the manual focus, and now we're gonna duplicate our shot. Let's bring the camera closer, and let's change the pose of Waymon. We have to see how he's hugging her, and now let's change the expression on him, because I think that we need a custom expression. I think this is close enough. He's about to cry, so this looks good for me. Remember that the important thing here is the expression on him on this shot. Let's also move Waymon here. Let's rotate this in the first shot. Now he has to be looking just a little bit right off camera. He's looking at Evelyn, so we're placing Evelyn there. We're putting another stove in the frame because the shape is very similar to a laundry machine. We also have this China bowl that we previously downloaded. It looks good for what we need. And let's change the pose of him. This one looks good. We need the hands to be open so that it seems like he's holding the ball. We're placing the ball now between his hands, and again we're putting his eyeline just on the right of the frame. Now we're placing this light. It's an LED panel for his key light. It has to be warmer. I think this is a good place. And now we're gonna select another light. An open face light for the background. There we have it. Let's just place it in a better position. Let's use a large Fresnel now, and let's go with a cooler temperature and let's place it as a backlight. And now we're gonna go with some fluorescent tubes, and we're gonna put them just above Waymon. Let's just angle it in the right position so he gets a kick from that fluorescent tube. Let's go to cam view and let's find the focus on him. Let's create this other character that is in the background. Let's place it. I think that's good enough. It has to be between Waymon and the China bowl. And now let's place this other character here, just behind Waymon in the background. I think that looks good. Let's duplicate this shot. And now let's move the camera. Let's move these things out so we have more space for the camera. Let's go down on the camera. This is a low angle shot. Let's change the pose of Waymon. He has to be holding a broom. So let's just search for one in props. I'm just gonna place these coins here on the floor so we have an object for Waymon to look at and create an eye line. Because if we don't have something for our character to look at, it's hard to get that eye line. I found this. That is not a broom actually, but it works for us because we don't need to see the whole piece. We just need to see a part of it. Let's just place it here. I think that looks good. And let's move our background and our light for the background. Let's also move our backlight here for Waymon and our key light. Let's place it there. Camera view. Let's just tilt up a little bit this camera. Okay, let's set this shot to a medium shot. And now let's go to our movement. It's gonna be a pan left and it's a low angle. Let's add in notes what he's doing in this shot. Waymon is cleaning the laundry store while Evelyn is watching him. That's good. Yes, it looks good. The focus looks good. Let's go to this other shot, duplicate it. Let's move our characters out of the frame. Let's change Evelyn's position. In this shot, she's sitting down. Let's just place her in the chair and move the camera, tilt a little bit. It's a little bit a low angle shot. Let's just set up this shot size as a close-up shot, medium shot, and then there's a tilt up shot and it's a low angle shot. So we're good there. In this moment, Evelyn is observing Waymon cleaning the laundry store, and then she stands up and walks to Waymon. Let's select this picture and let's make it a cooler temperature, something that emulates light coming from the outside. It can be either the moonlight or some fluorescent tube from the outside. Let's focus. I think that's good. Let's move the background a little bit, make it bigger. Let's move our fixture closer and let's tilt this other fixture for the background. Let's go a little bit more down on our camera. I think we like that. It looks pretty good. Let's go back to the other shot where they were hugging. Let's duplicate that shot. Let's move this camera around. Now we're gonna go to the other side. We're gonna see Evelyn. We need to change the position of her. It's gonna be an over the shoulder. Seeing Evelyn. Let's get closer to an 85mm. And let's go back with the camera. It's looking pretty close. Let's change her pose again. I think we like this one. And let's just mirror her so the arm is on the other side. She has to have her arm on Waymon's shoulder. So let's just change her eyeline there. That's good. Let's replace the background and let's move this fixture in order to hit the background. Let's move Evelyn a little bit. She has to be a little bit on an angle so the hand doesn't look too bad. But I think it works. It looks pretty good. Let's change her expression. Smiling. I think it looks good. And let's add a note here. Evelyn and Waymon are hugging while we jump to the flashback scenes. Dolly in, finishing on the close-up of Waymon crying. Camera view. This looks pretty good. I always like to check again on the manual focus, but it looks pretty good. And there we have our second part of this scene from the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once that takes place in the laundromat. Thank you.